So hey guys, today we have Manthan Sharma and he is having 3 years of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So let's get started. Hey, hello, hi Manthan, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How about you?
Yes, I'm also good. Shall we start?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
I am a software professional with
Mhm.
3 years of experience in the IT industry. I'm
Okay,
working as an associate at an MNC. My
okay,
current project is communications related work. So, where we are dealing with exchange of information between various systems and
okay.
devices and various applications.
It's a IoT
Technologies,
application or normal one?
no, it's a normal application.
Okay. So what's the data format while exchanging between different systems? You said you are
Yes, generally I mean, two of the most common ones are JSON and Excel.
XML
Yes.
or JSON,
Both of them, I mean,
both of
there are
them.
multiple modules since it is
Okay,
a
okay,
microservice
okay.
architecture.
So can you describe the Spring Boot application annotation?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this serves as the entry point for our Spring Boot project. It
Okay.
internally comprises of three annotations.
Mm-hmm.
Which are at the rate auto configuration, enable auto configuration, at the rate components scan, and at the rate configuration.
Uh-huh. Okay. Uh, okay. So what this configuration annotation do?
This tells the application that we would be defining beans inside it. So
Okay.
these are instantiated as soon as the application starts.
Uh-huh. Okay. So in enable auto configuration, as the name suggests, it's enabling auto configuration. So can we
Mhm.
disable auto configuration?
Yes, we can use the exclude keyword inside that
Okay.
annotation, and it would exclude that
Hmm.
dependency from on the.
Okay. 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 So can you tell me how does Spring Boot simplify the deployment of a web application?
Deployment. Okay.
Yes.
Hmm. So it provides inbuilt tools.
Okay.
I can't recall the exact ones, but
Mm-hmm.
using that we can check in and check out our code, and they can directly be integrated with any CI/CD provider like Jenkins or Azure.
Okay, so Manthan, before moving ahead, I will like to share one important thing. Hey guys, if you are not able to crack your interviews, then you can check our interview preparation kit. It has helped thousands of candidates in cracking their interviews. In this, we give the job support and referrals as well. Basically, this kit has 4 parts. The first part is complete interview preparation material. This contains 16 documents step by step with practice quizzes where all the content is organized and available in one place. Okay. The second part is two real enterprise projects, one based in Sweden and the other in the USA. There will be video explanation, prototype source code, PDF documents, and quizzes for each project. If someone already has projects, then they can take this as a reference and prepare accordingly. The third part is 7 days of chat support for all your doubts on projects, preparation material, or any other guidance. Okay. The fourth part is job support and referrals for the deserving candidates. I have provided the link to get this in the below description. Please check out once. It may change your life literally. So now moving to our interview. Uh, do you know about starter dependencies?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me a brief on this?
So if we talk about a Spring application, right, it has various modules.
Uh-huh.
For
Uh-huh.
example, Spring Boot is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Data JPA is one of them. Hibernate is one of them. We have Spring Security. So these are starter modules which can be used as dependencies in our pom.xml, and they would be loaded, as well as
Mm-hmm.
their transitive dependencies will be loaded as
Okay. Can we create our own starter dependency?
Yes, Spring provides that facility, but
Okay.
I mean, I don't remember the exact implementation, but I can give you an overall idea. We would need like uh,
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
configuration and config. We would need a configuration and properties file,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it would be a separate project. We would need
Mm-hmm.
these two files.
Okay.
Then we can create a factory file as well in the Meta INF folder where we can provide
Uh,
configuration. And then
okay.
we would obviously need a pom.xml where we can provide the group ID and artifact ID, which will be
Mm-hmm.
used while uh,
Okay. So
leveraging it
have
in another project.
okay, okay, got it. Have you created a jar file before?
Yes, we can use Maven or Gradle to create jar files.
Mm. So Manthan, as you said, you have exposure of database as well. You said you worked on JPA, something like that. Can you tell me
I mean,
what's
yes,
yeah, yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah. So
So I have leveraged RDBMS databases, but
okay,
I mean I've worked with two of them, Postgres and SQL Server.
okay, okay. So in this, can you tell me what's the role of transactional annotation?
Transaction annotation is used on the Spring Boot side, which
Uh-huh,
would annotate that. I mean, if we are using it on a method, then it would,
uh-huh.
uh, I mean, mark it as a complete separate entity. Either all of
Okay,
the operations in that
will go
method are
otherwise rolling back.
yes, otherwise it would go.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, can you tell me the difference between controller and REST controller annotation?
So controller, if we talk about let's say Spring MVC, right? If we
Uh-huh.
used to work with Spring MVC, we would use controllers because it would help us return views directly. I mean,
Okay.
it can be combined with response body annotation
Mm-hmm.
as well, so that we can return custom strings. REST
Mm-hmm.
controller combines both of these annotations, and we can directly return either like a response body or a response entity.
Can we use controller annotation while writing REST APIs?
Yes, yes, we can use controller.
Okay, how? Like,
It would be, let's say we are creating a student controller.
mm-hmm.
We can annotate that class with @controller, and inside that we can create multiple request mappings, which would mark the API endpoints.
Okay. So you are saying we don't need a REST controller, is it?
It's not compulsory.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. So, as we know, REST controller combines controller and response body annotation. So, what's the role of response body here?
We can, I mean, if I talk in terms of direct application, it would, we can directly simply return like a JSON or a string.
Okay. JSON is a default data format, or can we change from JSON to different one?
We can change it to a different one. We would need like a object serializer or a
Have you worked
deserializer.
with SOAP?
No.
Okay. Uh, okay. Have you worked with Spring Boot actuator?
Yes. I know.
Okay. Can we customize our actuator endpoint?
Customize as in, are we trying to create a new endpoint or modify the existing ones?
Hmm. Okay. Uh, okay. Hmm. Can we improve database interaction
Uh,
of in our app within our application?
can you give me an example? Like what exactly are we
For
trying to achieve?
example, let's say we are using MySQL database and
Mhm.
we have connected this to our Spring Boot application. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, someone observe like fetching data is a little slower. So can we improve?
Uh, That could be done using scaling. We can implement horizontal or vertical scaling from our server side for SQL servers.
Okay, scaling. And can we do indexing?
I mean, indexing, sharding, these are some of the concepts with
Okay.
which
So
we
do
can
you know
improve
about
the application.
query optimization?
Yes, we can, let's say, I mean, I have used a lot of stored procedures. So if we have complex queries or complex logic
Uh-huh.
that needs to be implemented from SQL side, then we can optimize our queries.
Okay, okay. How would you handle session management in a high traffic Spring Boot application?
Session management. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Have you used Spring Session?
no, I have not.
Okay.
Only thing that I'm aware about right now is that scope of a Spring Bean where we can provide a session Spring to the team.
Okay, okay. Have you worked on cron jobs?
Yes, I don't remember the exact syntax, but I have
Uh-huh.
worked with
So
cron
can
jobs.
you give me a use case of cron jobs? Like why do we use this?
So it would specify like a syntax. Let's say if we have a method or a function which we want to
Mm-hmm.
continuously run. For example,
Mm-hmm.
we want a service to run the, we can provide a cron expression for that method and it would execute it in that order.
Okay. Okay. And mm, do you know about Spring Web Flux? Have you worked ever?
No, MVC and Webflux I haven't had a
Okay, okay,
chance.
fine. Uh, can you describe a scenario where AOP can solve a complex problem?
So the basic agenda behind using AOPs is to
Uh-huh.
uh, leverage the, I mean, separating the core
Mm-hmm.
logic from the cross-cutting concerns like
Okay.
logging, security,
Mm-hmm.
etc. And
Mm-hmm.
we can like spin around that code around our core logic.
Okay. Is it mandatory to use AOP?
Mm, It would be, I mean, it could be considered a good practice, but
Okay.
there are other ways
Mm.
possible.
Okay. 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 So how can Spring Boot profiles be used to manage application settings across different environments?
So as you said, like Spring profiles are utilized for, let's say we have separate environments for application like node
Mm-hmm.
environment, QA environment, dev environment, prod environment. So for that, we can create a separate application properties or YAML file,
Mm-hmm.
and it would directly load up the appropriate file based on configuration of
Okay.
the environment.
Okay. 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 So tell me, how would you implement JOT authentication Spring Boot application from scratch?
Okay, so if we talk about JSON Web Tokens, first step
Uh,
would be to get the Spring Security dependency.
mm-hmm.
It so its default implementation is basic authentication. So first we
Uh-huh.
have to tell Spring Security that hey, we don't want to use this application. We have to create
Uh-huh.
configuration for that. Then
Uh-huh.
we would need a JWT based configuration where we
Okay.
have to encode or decode the JWT token. Then
Uh-huh.
we have to create a configuration which would tell Spring that
So
instead of
on
basic,
what
it's
parameters would you decode and encode? On the basis of
There
what
is,
parameters?
so if we talk about JWT structure, right, it has a header, a payload, and a signature. So based on
Uh-huh.
that signature, it would encode and decode.
Okay. Do
And
you know about method level security?
method, yeah, that would be considered as authorization. So Spring Boot provides us at the rate pre-authorized annotation
Uh-huh.
to ensure that.
Okay. Do you know about annotation like pre-authorized or secured?
I have worked with at the rate pre-authorized, and if I go into detail, it we can use the has role, has any role, has roles, and
Okay,
based
okay,
on
okay.
the role,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can access the method.
Okay. So yeah, how do you approach writing unit tests for a Spring Boot application?
For unit testing, we have used JUnit and Mock.
JUnit.
Yes.
Okay. Mm, or any framework with JUnit?
Yes, Mockito.
Mockito. Okay. Mm, what are the benefits of using mock bean annotation?
So mock bean is generally used with the at the rate Spring Boot test. It would leverage any Spring Boot related dependencies into our
Mhm.
test class.
Okay. Okay.
But the
And
main task is the same. It would
mm,
mock the beans or
mm,
process.
okay. Moving ahead, can you please describe the working of garbage collector in JVM?
Yes. So if we talk about garbage collection, it would
Uh,
free up the
memory.
unused memories. Yes. So
Mm,
if there are any objects which are unreferenced in our heap memory,
mm,
it would clear them out and free up some space also.
okay.
It is automatically invoked
Do you
in
know
our
about
application.
garbage collections algorithms?
Algorithm, yes. If we talk about the core algorithm, that would be mark and sweep algorithm. So what it does is it would mark the unused objects and then clear them out.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So how would you analyze and debug memory leaks in Java application or Spring Boot application?
Mhm. So memory leaks are generally caused if, let's say, we are using static keywords
Uh,
excessively,
uh,
or if we are referencing some objects unnecessarily, which are not really required or not. If we are not clearing any connections, then a memory leak can occur. We can use profilers or logging to track them.
have you worked with Visual VM?
Visual VM, no, I don't know. I
Okay.
think I worked with Power BI once.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell me the life cycle of an object from creation to garbage collection?
That's like, I mean, no, I don't have that much detail on the life
Hmm.
cycle, but all I can say is that as like once an object is created, it can be used in a method or a class, and then once the reference is no longer required, it is automatically picked up by language collector.
Okay. I mean, how many ways we have to create an object?
There are two most common ways. One of them is using the new keyword, and another one is object learning.
Okay. Okay. So do you know about deadlock in multi-threading?
Yes, so deadlock is, let's say we have two classes which are
Mm-hmm.
dependent on each other. So let's say class B requires something which is held up by class A, and
Mm-hmm.
class A requires something which is held up by class B. So this creates a deadlock. So none of them would yield until the process is complete.
Mm. Okay. What's the difference between runnable and callable in Java concurrency?
I can recall Runnable right now. So Runnable is interface is one of the ways which with
Uh,
which we can create a thread. Cannot recall it.
okay, okay, it's fine. Okay, okay. So, discuss a scenario where the final keyword is significantly impacts the design of a Java program
Uh, like in a good way or in a bad way.
in a good way.
Okay, so final keyword, I mean the most common use case would be the singleton pattern. There we have
Okay.
we can create final object and
Mm-hmm.
we can return it from one of the ladder or something else.
Okay. Do you know about thread safety? Like, it,
Uh, thread safety and synchronization go hand in hand. So if let's say one of the threads is accessing an object, we have to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that no other thread tries to access it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there would be bad data connection.
Okay. Okay.
We can use thread safe collections to make sure of this.
Okay. Okay. So, uh, are you aware of the recent updates to on Java, like records, shield classes?
I don't have that much detail. I can remember that they were introduced in, I think, Java 15 or 15 version,
Okay.
but I don't remember the exact versions.
Okay.
We
What's the
have
latest
used,
version you are using? What's the Java version you are using?
yes, so in our project, we have used Java
Java 8,
11.
11. Okay. Can you tell me some new features in Java 11?
Mm, Two of the most common ones are usage of HTTP client, with which we
Okay.
can make HTTP
Yeah.
requests. Another
And
one would
which
be
Spring Boot version you are using?
2.7.
2.7. And what's the latest version?
I think 3.3.3, which is the latest stable version, but
Mm-hmm.
3.4 is one of the milestone
Okay.
versions. Which is
Okay. So in our Java or Spring Boot application, we use packages, right? Can you tell me what are packages and why do we use them?
So packages are used to bundle up, let's say, different sort of classes. We can bundle up controller classes in one package, service
Mm-hmm.
classes in one package, helper
Mm-hmm.
and utility classes in one package.
Do you know about thread in Java and how can we create that?
Yes, so threads are like subparts of a process.
Uh-huh.
Process would be like a set of instructions that are supposed to be executed. So there
Mm-hmm.
are two ways of creating threads in Java.
Okay.
One would be using the thread class.
Uh-huh.
Another one is using runnable interface.
Okay. Okay. Can you explain the life cycle of a thread?
Yes, so there are major 5 steps. One of
Uh-huh.
them, like first step would be thread is in new state. Then
Uh-huh.
once it is started, it comes in the start state. Then
Mm-hmm.
third step would be running.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth would be waiting, where it is waiting or halted, where it is waiting for some resources. And
Mm-hmm.
then final would be terminated.
Okay. Can we start thread twice?
Mm, no, that's not possible. It would give us another.
Why?
Mm,
What error would you get if you start thread twice? Have you tried?
I haven't tried, but I think it would give us an exception. I can't recall that
Okay, okay,
exception.
okay. How can you ensure a method is a thread safe in Java?
Thread safe.
Uh,
I mean, to ensure thread safety, we can use a concept called semaphores, where
okay.
we can use counters or registers to
Mm-hmm.
maintain that accessibility.
Okay. Can you describe a scenario where you would use wait and notify methods in thread communication?
Mhm. So I think these are the concepts which can come under thread synchronization. So if
Mm-hmm.
we want to notify other threads which are in the pool that hey, we are using this resource.
Mm-hmm.
So using wait and notify, we can uh, do
Okay.
so.
Can we create a server in Java application without without adding Spring or any other framework?
Yes, we can use let's say Apache Tomcat or Jetty, and
Okay.
we can use those dependencies and we can create a server.
Okay. Uh, okay. Mm. Okay. So in HashMap or in collection framework, what happens when two keys have the same hash code?
If we talk about hash map, then it would
Uh,
simply update the value for that respective.
okay. Can you please tell me what changes were done for the hash map in Java 8? Because before Java 8, hash map behaved differently, right?
If we talk about before Java 8, it used to
Hmm.
leverage linked list in its implementation, but now I think it has started using red black trees, if I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct.
uh,
Can we include class as a key in hash map?
yes, we can use it while defining. We can use like hash map, and then within Angular brackets,
Mm,
we can provide class for the key and value.
okay. Can you explain concurrent hash map?
So concurrent hash maps are basically thread map. I mean thread safe versions of hash
Uh,
map.
okay. How does it improve performance in a multi-threaded environment?
Mm, I mean, I can only recall that it provides thread safety
Okay, okay.
and synchronize access to resources.
Uh,
It won't allow root threads to. I mean,
okay,
I
okay.
think there are some read-write access related
Hmm.
things which I can.
Okay, okay. Can you explain the role of each like try, catch, and finally block?
Yes, so these three keywords are used in exception handling in Java.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
within try block, we can put some code with where we are expecting some sort of an exception. Then
Uh-huh.
within the catch block, we can catch uh, either a general exception, custom exception, or any
Uh-huh.
inbuilt exception.
Okay.
And what was the third one? Finally, right?
Finally.
Yes. So let's say if our application terminates due to some exception, but we still
Uh-huh.
want to execute some code like
Mm-hmm.
cleanup code, we can
Mm-hmm.
put that in finally
Okay.
zero block.
Okay. So what happens if a return statement is executed inside the try or catch block? Does the finally block still execute?
Yes, it would still execute. It would only not execute if there is like a fatal error, let's say
Okay.
out of memory exceptions.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible to execute a program without a catch block?
Uh, Yes, I mean, if we are using a try block, then it should be followed with either a catch block or a finally.
Okay. Okay. So how does exceptional handling affect the performance of Java application like this try, catch, and finally blocks?
So instead of like random termination of an application, we
Uh,
can use exception handling to like terminate the program or close the
okay.
method call in a meaningful way. It
Mm,
improves readability as well.
okay. Can you tell me a condition where the finally block will not be executed?
Yes, as I mentioned, like if there is a fatal exception, I
Uh-huh.
mean fatal error, or if we are explicitly calling the exit
Mm-hmm.
method from the system class, then it would not be executed.
Okay. Okay. Mm. Can we write multiple finally blocks?
No, we can only write one.
Okay. How would you handle multiple exception in a single catch block?
In a single catch block.
Uh-huh.
So we can use the like parent class of all exception, the exception class. It would catch all exceptions. But if we
Okay.
want to catch separate exceptions, then we need to have multiple catch blocks.
We cannot use single catch block for multiple exception.
I have not used it, and I think I'm pretty sure we can't do that.
Cannot we use pipe symbol in a catch
Then
block?
yeah. If that is the case, I'm not aware.
Okay, okay. Okay. Nice. Okay, so tell me why do we use getter setter when we make I mean we can make fields public and setting getting directly.
So the general usage of getters and setters is while
Uh,
implementing the encapsulation logic of OOP paradigm. So if we want to restrict the access of our variables, and
mm,
let's say if we are using a private variable, then we
mm,
can control its access outside of the class using the getters and setters.
okay. Can a top level class be private or protected?
Mm, it can be protected but not private,
Okay.
because with private keyword we cannot
Mhm.
extend it.
Can a class in Java be without any method or fields?
Yes, it can be.
It can.
Yes.
Okay. Are thread safe? Are singleton classes thread safe?
No. So each thread could violate the singleton pattern.
Okay. Can we use a private constructor?
Yes. So for implementing singleton classes, we need a private key.
Can constructor be overloaded?
Yes, constructors can be overloaded. We can have multiple constructor. I mean, constructor names are generally the
Uh,
class names, so we can
hmm.
create multiple constructors and provide separate
Can a class
arguments.
extends on its own?
No, it can't be extended on its own. It we have to like specify it in another class using the extends key.
Uh, okay. Hmm. Okay. Now moving ahead. Hmm. Can an interface in Java contain static method?
Interfaces and strategy. I don't think that's possible because
In latest Java versions as well?
uh, if like I can't recall that right now, because if there are
Uh,
any changes, they are probably after Java 8. I don't
hmm.
recall the exact.
Okay. Uh, so yeah, okay, it's done from my end.